back. It's Film Friday. You know what? Hang on one second. There we go. Wait a minute. Now we're really talking. Anyway, this week on Film Fridays, it's Fyre Festival. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to Film Friday, a show for post-cinematic analysis. Thanks for joining. Hope you're ready for another exciting episode. This week we're going to dive into the Netflix documentary Fyre Festival. So the disclaimer is I hate watching movie reviews before I see the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, make sure to go check it out. Do yourself a favor. You'll probably enjoy it. If you have seen the movie, come and join us. During this post-cinematic analysis show, we focus on some of my favorites and a couple fixes. So let's kick it off with a couple of my favorites. First things first, I love the chaos of this movie. The documentary opens up with a wealthy young entrepreneur. He's got all these great ideas for this giant luxurious music festival. And right off the bat, you realize there's no way this is gonna work. They pick a remote island that they end up not actually having the island. They end up using a different part of the Bahamas. They've got no infrastructure, no food, no water. They've got musicians. They've got hopes and promises of these $10,000 villas that aren't even built yet. It's a disaster. When you're watching this movie, the chaos makes you feel like you're watching a dark sequel to Richie Rich. And of course, by the end of the movie, you recognize that it does become a disaster with no catering, with the people's luggage showing up in 18-wheelers and just dumped on the beach. And my personal favorite, the FEMA tents left over from Hurricane Matthew. Another one of my favorites is that the main villain antagonist, the man behind the curtain, Billy in this movie, while he's out on bail for his potential crimes of fraud and lying to the public and frauding investors, he begins another scam. The audacity of this gentleman to do this. I mean, with the I think it's New York City VIP access, and he's got the mysterious Frank who's sending out emails poaching the people who bought tickets to Fyre Festival. That's just diabolical and just brilliant on the filmmaker's part to show that you've got this seemingly compulsive liar who, like, once he's digging a hole, he begins to dig and dig and dig and dig. And even when he's out on bail for $300,000, he's beginning the next scam. I thought that was incredible. Now that we've discussed a couple of my favorites, let's talk about a couple fixes. The biggest gripe I have with this documentary is that though Billy, the antagonist, the villain, seems like a total dirtbag and a habitual liar, we didn't get to hear from him. We didn't get to hear any of his side of the story. We didn't get any sort of, he had no comment. We didn't get any sort of feedback from him in jail because, spoiler, he went to jail because you can't fraud people and not go to jail. But I didn't get to hear it from him at all. And I do believe a good documentary needs to be as balanced as it could be. Even something as simple as some feedback from Billy to say, yeah, I did this and I'm terribly sorry. I'm not sorry at all. You guys are suckers. Or you misinterpreted and this is all big misunderstanding. Whatever it was, I would have really liked to have heard from Billy. The last fix I'd like to offer is, though the documentary was well done, I can't find necessarily any major issues with it. It's an interesting story, but it's kind of forgettable. It's like most things on social media that begin as wildfire and they begin in a viral manner, and just like that, they're forgotten. When I think about great documentaries, or I think about stories that are told that really provoke me, or films that stay with you and have rewatchability, Fyre Festival, it's interesting, it's worth a watch, but at the end of the day, just like the Fyre Festival itself, it showed up with a bang, and it'll be forgotten. I think what bothers me so much is that of course people were lied to, and of course there's a bit of comedy with, like, you've got these people paying so much money and going off to the Bahamas, and they had the wool covered over their eyes. But the things that bother me so much are that there are over 200 workers that worked 24/7 to build this festival, and they never got paid. And I think when I watched the documentary, the owner of the restaurant, I mean, she, like, that pierces your heart just to think that there are real normal people who got hurt and got treated poorly in this and got lied to and cheated. So I hope you enjoyed watching. Hope you enjoyed hearing a couple of my favorites and a couple of my fixes. Please let me know what you thought. I've been told that there's actually another documentary made by Hulu, so I'll probably need to do that in the next couple of weeks as well to get a fully balanced example of each film. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear if you. I didn't know about Fyre Festival at all. I guess I'm not an influencer, and I am not a social media addict, but I'd love to hear some feedback on what you thought of the documentary, and also if you knew about the Fyre Festival, if you knew about this sort of viral experience, or if this documentary popped up on Netflix and you were like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Take a look at that. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Make sure to subscribe. I think you're supposed to hit the like button. I don't really care if you do or not, but please, if you enjoyed this, I hope this viewing experience will help your next viewing experience. And remember, this is going to be a bi-weekly show, so we'll see you next time on Film Fridays. It's not alcohol. I don't want to waste it. So this is not an ad, but Bubbly makes some incredible seltzer waters. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy. One more thing, smoking is really bad for you, so make wise choices.